Hello, you amazing random people. Yes, I am cleaning my bathroom today. So you guys get to look at randomness while I attempt to clean one-handed. Well, I set you down, so I'm not cleaning one-handed. So we talked about a lot of stuff in the last few videos, and there's a few things that need a little further explanation, like, yeah, I say a lot. It's supposed to be a bad habit, according to public speaking things. Well, talk about a lot about universal energies and all that other stuff. It's, when I say inclusive, don't freak out. It's not the current state of social inclusiveness that I'm referring to. When I discuss universal energy, it is what most people would call God, no matter what religion they observe. It is the thing that makes everything. Whether you believe it or not, all things in the universe are interconnected, whether you consider it living or not. If you go and, I don't have notes, so yes, there is a lot of in this today. If you go through and you look at anything with like the Indian religions, Buddhist religions, Sumerian religions, some that get way away from it though. They talk about everything being connected. That you shouldn't harm things because it's a part of everything. I'm sure there's better explanations for that, but that's my explanation. It's, the Indians talk, they're probably the easiest reference for everybody to understand. The Indians talk about everything's connected through Mother Earth and Father Sky. I don't necessarily believe in two entities, I believe in God. But it's a reference point. I'm referencing, so don't be weird. That's gross. Pretty much, it's that all things in existence are connected to each other, to a universal, constant energy. However you want to see it, however you want to say it. What happened to my tools? It's just, it's there and it's constantly connected. The Indians talk about how the animals are connected. Ew. There's my extra clippy. Plants are connected. The rivers and lakes are connected. It's gross. Let me just go to the trash. The rocks, the trees, everything's connected. And by damaging, girl child's been having fun. Let's just put this up here. By damaging something in any kind of existence, whether it's a person or plant or an animal, you are in essence damaging yourself. If you're at all familiar with Buddhist concepts, it's a similar principle. Christianity used to have concepts along those lines that we're supposed to be good stewards of the earth. We are supposed to take care of the earth. We are supposed to take care of everything and respect it, be thankful for it, replenish it, tend it, care for it. It's the same concepts in a different form, in a different meaning. When I talk about all this stuff and I give different reference points, it's not meant to confuse, it's not meant to change the meaning of anything. It's just meant to give you a broader understanding and perspective of different, I don't even know. Don't know a good way to put that. But it's meant to bring better understanding. It's not meant to confuse. It's not meant to deceive. It's not meant to take anyone away from anything. It's meant to help you understand. And through knowledge, there's power. Even the Bible talks about that. All these concepts you can find in some form or shape, form or fashion in the Bible. If you are a Buddhist, it's the same concepts. If you're Indian, it's similar concepts. If you're a Catholic, similar concepts. Jewish. Heck, even Muslim. But we don't like to talk about those things as Christians. We really don't. Because everybody's like, but there's a different religion and it's wrong and we're supposed to spread Christianity and this, that, and the... Yes, that's what the Bible says. And here's the but. But if you really look at the actual... Certain passages will always hold similarities. And it goes throughout history. There are similarities of the same stories for ever, really. And it's all based on the same concepts. And so no matter which religion you see, and I break it down into that because most people associate the psychics as that new age, crazy bullshit, hippy dippy, whatever. They talk about, hey, my kitty litter box is running. How the sun and the stars affect everything, and that's not Christian, and this, that, and the other. So I try to break it down into concepts that are easily understandable through religion. And it doesn't matter what religion you are. It all is a very, very similar concept, but we all call it something different. Muslims and Christians and Catholics called them prophets, healers, the gifted. Those granted certain things by God. And with those things came certain responsibilities. Now, I'm not saying everybody is gifted from God. There are still those that are false, that don't follow a doctrine, that don't follow a moral compass, that they're about creating money, telling you what you want to hear, deceiving you, propagating lies, or they're just entirely connected to not good things. That's where you get the false prophets, this idea that all this is bad and wrong, because at some point in time, somebody perverted even what God gave us and made it into something it's not. For everybody that's currently looking at what's going on in the Muslim world, in the Hindu world, and pretty much in religions in general, there's a universal issue within all religions where they have all been corrupted. That's been the plan of dark things for a very long time, is they seek to corrupt and corrupt absolutely. Just like the apostles wrote the exact same thing, but they wrote it to different churches, so it was said in a different way in each of those biblical scriptures. You have to see religion as the same thing. You do not have to accept or even acknowledge that other religions see more than one God to understand what I'm getting at. Biggest thing is there is always one major God. There's one God that everyone worships above all others. And if you know anything and you actually read your Bible, that's something directly out of our Bible. It states, "You shall have no other God before me." That gets into a lot of philosophy that is off topic, kind of, but equally interesting, that I really won't get into because it'll really screw with some people's heads. But back to the main point, we are all connected by this universal energy. Best way to put it, like Doctor Who says, it's tiny, whiny, wibbly wobbly. It all goes round in weird patterns, and it's like scribbling on a page. That is everything psychic. And unlike a lot of the psychics that you deal with that are very open about what they do, and granted, I'm trying to be open. This is new. I don't really necessarily like talking about any of this. I don't like putting this out there. I don't do this for fame, prosperity, or money. I don't walk around telling people's fortunes because I don't think that's right. People shouldn't know what their future is going to be. They shouldn't know what it's going to look like. Every now and then you need a shove in the right direction, and that's where prophets came in. They turn around and would tell the congregation, the people of God, something about something that they need to be prepared for. Whether it was war or famine or disease, or I'm going to throw a plague upon Egypt and I need you guys to put the blood of the lamb on all your mantles. It's that's what prophets are. They provide you information that God tells them to provide. Hang on a second. I gotta go get me some paper towels so I can start wiping things down. Yeah, so where were we? Prophets provide the information that God wants you to provide. So it kind of pisses off the powers that be that I don't always have an answer for them. I may have an answer for them, but they're not allowed to have it. They're not allowed to have it yet. So when I go to try and speak about something that I've seen, I don't necessarily have the words for it. Sometimes it's a matter of I literally just don't have the words for it. There's no real describing what's going on. Some people that are associated with me know some of the work that I've done. They got to understand that here recently. Got a text that said, "You wouldn't believe the things that I've seen." And I'm like, yes, I would, because I've seen them. It's why I can't really describe some of the things that are happening, is because there's no words to describe it. And when you're talking about people that it's their jobs to fight wars, and they can't put words to it, how am I expected to be able to put words to something? It's not always possible. The other sense is that I literally cannot tell you something God does not want you to know. I can't. It is the presence and the acceptance that I chose to accept, that I accept this gift as a biblical preparedness? I don't know. Whatever. So that when the time came, I could do what God needed me to do. I never did any of this, like those TV psychics or the people that read tarot or anything else, for gain. I did this for God. When I figured out what it was that I was seeing, I don't serve anyone. It'd be really nice to actually get paid for what I do. Then I could concentrate and just focus on doing that and not have to deal with the non-stop visions at the moment while I'm working. And then trying to figure out how to explain to people, my quality work sucks because I was dealing with other things. But I literally cannot reveal what isn't meant to be revealed yet. I can know it. I can see it. I can comprehend it for the most part for me. But if I go to talk about it, if I go to write it, if I go to draw it, if I go to type it up, and it is not meant to be put out there yet, I literally can't write it. I can't draw it. I can't find the words. I will go speechless. I literally will stand there and stare into space like, what the hell? My brain goes blank, and I can't think, let alone find words. I used to chalk that up to the meds I was put on when I broke my back, but it's really not. I can usually give people a mundane explanation that keeps them from asking questions. But that's pretty much the highlight of it, is with true psychic ability, at least this is how it works for me, because it does work differently for some other people, is I cannot give you information God does not wish you to have. I can't make things up. If I make things up, if I lie, bad things happen to me personally. So I don't lie. I may not talk about something, but I'm not going to lie to you about it. I don't make things up because that would be a lie. But I guess that oversimplifies it. It is what it is, kind of thing. At least it's how it works for me. There are other people that will go against stuff. Being a viewer is a little bit different. A viewer alone is not going to see the future. She's not going to reveal God's plan. She, because there are he's. You're not, all you're doing is pretty much working as a satellite. You're going to find things that you can't necessarily find or see how. Jeez, it just sounds stupid. Being able to find things without going somewhere. Like being able to visit the Eiffel Tower without being in Paris. Being able to visit the Pantheon without being in Greece. being able to walk down a street in Mexico without actually being in Mexico. It's those kinds of things. There are some viewers that can do things like look into safes and read documentations. There's viewers that can follow people. The Russians, by the way, are very good at that. They will remote view something and then they can latch onto another person in that location and follow them. Pretty much like they're getting a guided tour. It's really weird and really cool at the same time. It's an interesting concept. I'd say something else about it, but it reveals a little bit too much about what I'm capable of. They've actually had recorded instances of foreign governments spying on military personnel, trying to get information by invading their dreams, which is also equally an interesting topic. This kind of thing, it does actually require your ability to tap into that universal energy that I'm constantly talking about, because all things are connected, and if all things are connected, then you can access those just like you can access a website. As long as you know the address, you can access it. But just like clicking on an ad, you can go from one website to another website. And that's how it pretty much works. There are other people that are much better than me that can do things a little bit differently than that. But that's remote viewers in a nutshell. And then there's telekinetics, and I've never really met a telekinetic. Telekinetics are said to be able to move objects with their minds. So, moving objects without being able to touch it. But that's not where the military ends their definition of a telekinetic. They end their definition of a telekinetic as someone that can tamper, damage, or interfere, destroy objects, equipment, electronics, anything attached to electricity. Despite what people want to believe, there's actually been some bits of success with that. And of course, nobody really wants to talk about it. You'd be hard-pressed to find actual information on it, but you can find it. And like everything else, it all seems batshit crazy. But it's true. Believe it or not. Other things, let's see. Telepathy. Because I know you guys will see that come up on my timeline every now and then. People being able to talk to each other without actually speaking. Surprisingly, that's one of the easier ones to believe if you know what the concept is and what you're looking at. It's a little voice in the back of your head telling you to do something, or talking to you, or having a random conversation. It's not necessarily you talking to yourself. You have to be able to tell the difference between you talking to yourself and somebody else talking to you. And it's way easier to understand and get a grip on and verify if you actually have access to the individual, so that you can go, hey, was that you? And tell them the basis of the conversation. There's Russians, Germans, Chinese, hell, even the Brits. I'm pretty sure the US has, but they won't talk about it, have all used telekinesis to talk to troops. It was the first earpiece before there were earpieces and bugs. That may be a random thought that got me in trouble. But yeah, telekinesis is literally talking to somebody. And most people don't recognize it, or they will recognize it as you're having a conversation with somebody and you finish their sentence. You're having a conversation with somebody and you just kind of know what they're going to say next. You're having a conversation with somebody and you understand more detail than what they're actually telling you. And they go, I didn't actually say that. That's telekinesis, whether you realize it or not. The fun thing about all of this is in the concept of universal energy, that we're all connected, we're all together. It means we are all capable of doing something in that psychic spectrum. And it is a spectrum because it's a huge group of possibilities and things you can do and things you can't do and all those other fun things. But everyone is capable of doing it. You get that gut feeling that something isn't right and it comes true. You get that gut feeling that you need to do something but you're not sure what, but you do it anyways. That's a psychic ability. You just know something happened to a family member. That's a psychic ability. You call somebody because something told you to call them and you found out that that person you called was just thinking about you and wanted to talk to you. That's a psychic ability. It's all connected. Everybody has the ability to do it, but just like anything else, some people do it better than others. I hope that makes some sort of logical sense. But it should give you, like I said, it should give you a different perspective on things. It's not meant to confuse or sow discord. It's meant to provide more knowledge, more understanding. Most of this stuff you can look up. You just have to be able to discern what is truly batshit crazy and what actually has bits of information in it that is useful in helping you learn more. Surprisingly, the Bible actually talks about it a decent amount, but it codes it as other things. The military talks about it a decent amount, but they code it as other things. And this, I'm not talking just the U.S. government, I'm talking about all militaries, or at least a decent amount of militaries. Because if you paid attention and watched full videos on other things, you know that I also mentioned there are psychics that have offices in the UN. But again, it can get overly complicated if you choose to make it overly complicated, but it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It is what it is, and we're all connected to the same thing. I like to call it the universal energy because it's more inclusive and it's more understandable for a larger group of individuals. But I prefer to call it God. We're all connected to God in one way or another, and that is what we pull from. You know what He allows us to know. You see what He allows us to see. You can't force it one way or another. If you're trying to force it, you're going to end up with false results. This is why a lot of individuals like me aren't super accurate. They're trying to force results. They're trying to give somebody an exact result or lean towards whatever answer somebody's wanting, without realizing they're compromising their own results. It does happen. It gets really irritating. I quit talking about what I am a very long time ago because I had a lot of people continually go, well, tell my fortune. Tell me something about me. I don't work that way unless I am asked to tell you something. Because there is times where I've had to talk to people where an angel, God, whatever, has been trying to talk to that individual for a while. They've been trying to get them on the right path, an appropriate path, whatever, and they're just not getting it. But it's very, very important that they do get it. So every now and then, if I run into them, I will say something, generally whatever I'm told to say to them, that clicks in their tiny heads and makes them go, oh my God. That is exactly the answer I've been looking for. I'm not fortune telling. I'm not, ew, what is that? Not reading tarots. I'm not reading palms, which I'm not saying there's anything good or bad against those things. It just is what it is. It's not for me. It's not my thing. I don't think there's any precedent for it, but it's fun. Whatever. Because I don't like to tell people what to do. But I only will tell you what I'm told to tell you. It's like, I know some of you guys have seen some of the random stuff that I've posted. It's generally because it's meant for one person in particularly that will read it. Not necessarily meant for Twitter as a whole. It's just like everything else. It's an avenue of communication. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. If you have questions, ask. I will try to answer them. Otherwise, have a great day, guys. I'm gonna finish cleaning the bathroom. Bye.